Well, it's one of those sometimes for Russ. Yeah, he's got work obligations. He won't be here tonight. But he hasn't started, I don't think he started tending bar in Leicester yet because they're still, Oxford, because they're still pretty wet. Still pretty wet out there. God, we can't get rid of this rain.
In the cold.
Rain and cold. This is the worst. May 1st. God, this is horrible. It's more like November 1st.
Mm.
And, you watch the weather and it's continuing. Oh, by the way, we got to get a new picture of Town Hall because that's out of date. Those air conditioners are gone. They got central air now.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
I just came back from Atlanta, actually. It's nice and warm over there.
Well, New York South, they're having beautiful spring.
Yeah.
We're stuck in this thing that's coming down from Canada and it's sitting right on top of us. And it reaches down, but New York City, we had a great day today. It was 70 degrees. And sunny. We'd have great, if the sun could come out, we get rid of the clouds, we'd have a great day. But can't get rid of the clouds. And don't tell me we'll have a drought. That'll be the next thing, we won't get rain for a couple of weeks and then they'll start saying, oh, we're in drought situation now. Well, anyway, Tuesday night, annual town meeting, happens twice a year. The annual is the main town meeting, then we have the follow-up in October to tidy up anything that happened after we started a new physical year.
7 o'clock, right?
7 o'clock at the middle school on Linwood Avenue. If you're not familiar with the middle school, it's the former high school. So, you got to get there around 7 o'clock. There'll be plenty of parking if you get there early enough. And I tell you, I don't think it's going to be that lengthy because, and we go over some of the items here. Of course, the first two items are transfers to cover stuff that's left over from the last fiscal year, this past fiscal year. So that's pretty simple. Then Article 3 is the new budget, which is going to be $44,221,765. A lot of money. That's the town budget alone. We kind of mirror the state. The state is 44 billion, we're 44 million. And it seems to stay that way. We kind of mirror the state like that. But, and I don't see that really having a tough time going through. They didn't mail, this is the first town meeting now, I believe, that they didn't mail out the books listing all the articles. So if you wanted to see them, you had to go online. You can get them online, or they were posted throughout the town. That's what I had, what's on this card here. They did mail a card to every postal customer in town, and telling you where you could see the article, the town meeting warrant. And, because it's posted at the post offices, Gary's Variety, town clerk's office, Whitensville Social Library. So if you wanted to see it, you could see it, and you can get a copy of it if you went to the town hall and get it from the town clerk. But like I said, today everything's online. I can get a lot of stuff online about the town. Okay, going down there, Article 4 is the Sewer Enterprise Fund. The Water Department Enterprise Fund is number 5. These are pretty simple. They're going to do work, and they take it out of the funds that they got from selling the water and from the sewer bills. And now we got road repair, which is Article 6. Everybody's worried about the roads in town, and this is to accept the money from the Commonwealth and for the Chapter 90 money, so we can get some more roads fixed around town. And I heard Church Ave was on the list this year, so.
What's the Chapter 90?
Chapter 90 is what the state money from the state that the state collects on the gas tax.
The gas.
And they send it back to the cities and towns to repair roads. And you have to do roads that are frequented by people, a lot of people, you know, it's gotta be people from both in town and out of town. So they can't do private streets with it or anything like that. But Church Ave is like a commuter route.
Yeah.
So I believe that's right out here in front of our studio. Hopefully that is on the agenda because it's in really tough shape. I know unfortunately my street's not, Benson Road, because they told me it wasn't. Yeah. I don't know how much longer I can keep my vehicles up, for crying out loud. Mine's in tough shape. It's getting miserable driving, coming down here. Okay, then we got the Article 7 is to authorize the treasurer collector to go into agreements. That's to borrow money. You have to give her that, the treasurer, that permission every year. Article 8 is to set the limit for the enterprise funds for the playground and rec, food, health and safety, and the compost site. And then we go to Article 9 is a transfer of funds within the budget and appropriate funds under the omnibus budget by transferring $24,750 from retirement benefits to compensate absences fund or take any other, okay. So it's something to do with the retirement fund. And Pine Grove Cemetery comes up, and here again is the town to vote to appropriate and transfer a sum of money from the Pine Grove Cemetery Trust Fund. See, the town has to vote to move money around as a town. And that's what town meeting does, primarily. Well, there's other things, but primarily that's what they do, is they vote to move the money around, and that's to take some of the money out of the trust fund to give to the Public Works Director to take care of Pine Grove, which some people tell me is not looking too good. I don't know, I haven't been down there, but I hear complaints all the time, but hey, DPW really hasn't got a big staff either. Okay, the town will vote the sum of $87,000, this is Article 11, from the overlay surplus to be expended by the Board of Assessors for revaluation of property. Here again, that's something that's mandated by law. They have to hire appraisers to go around and reassess your property.
Really?
Every so many years, yeah. To make sure that you haven't put any additions on, not told anybody. If you remodeled your kitchen, they find out, they raise the value of your house. See, so to get their tax money out of you, to get the maximum out of you, they go around and check. You know, you might have put a shed in, you might have put a pool in, never got a permit. That's why they have building permits, so they know what you're adding in. See, so they can tax you on it. Okay, and now we got, okay, this is another sewer transfer for the wastewater treatment plant of $150,000, but there again, that comes out of the enterprise fund, the money that they gathered, they collect with the sewer tax. And that's Article 13, as well as Article 14 and Article 15, all have to do with that. So, you know, Article 15 is $52,200 to take out a underground tank. I remember back in the 70s, that was the thing to do. You put the oil tank underground. Well, now you got to get them out, you know, because they found that didn't work too well. They ended up getting rusty and rotting, and then first you know they're leaking. So now you have to get them out of the ground.
Pollution.
Yeah. So, you know, I know a lot of people did that. Built their houses, they put tanks in the ground. You didn't have a big tank in your cellar, and it was out of the way. Nobody saw it. Well, it turned out now that it's costing them money because they got to get them out. And if you sell your house, you can't sell your house with a tank in the ground. And the town's in the same boat. They got to get theirs out. Okay, and the water department, this is a big one. $619,920 for the purpose of financing water infrastructure repairs. including replacing of water mains within the streets of Linwood Ave, Court Street, John Circle, Edgemere Ave. So there's going to be a lot of digging. Now those streets will be ripped up. Okay, and then they can't repair them for at least a year because they have to let them settle. Then Article 17 is a whole array of DPW projects. And I can't go through all because the printing is so small it's hard to read. But there is a rash of projects here. So that's why, if you're wondering what's going on in town, if you don't go to town meeting, you're not going to know. And this money is going to come from undesignated fund balance, better known as free cash, the following sums of money, and a purpose and said sums to be expended by the head of the department of designated. Okay, $25,000 for a townwide sidewalk maintenance program, $66,684 for a townwide pavement maintenance program, $25,000 to repair fire department communication radios, $15,000 for a police department assessment center, $35,000 for police station security cameras, and $20,000 for town hall underground fuel oil storage tank removal. Here we go again, see? Public, that'll be under Public Works. And to transfer the amount of $25,000 from the ambulance receipts to replace the fire department radios, and to transfer the amount of $31,000 from the unexpended balance of the fire department capital account for the fire station feasibility study, which we're finally seeing something happen with that. They're looking a feasibility study. Well, one thing, you don't need a feasibility study to know we need a new fire station. I mean, I don't need a feasibility study for that. If you need a feasibility study where you're going to locate it, I can understand that, okay? Because that's got to be resolved. But I don't see why you got to bring somebody in to figure that out. I think we could figure that out on our own, but that's the way government works. Oh God, this stuff goes on and on. $4,000 for town hall annex, slate roof. Yeah, the slate roof has to be repaired in the town hall annex, which is a historical building. So they want to keep it slate. Well, it's a problem that the slate's falling off, and that was replaced probably 20 years ago, but you'd think it would have lasted longer than that.
That only cost $4,000 to replace that?
Well, to replace parts of it, not the whole roof.
Yeah.
But we should have done back then, instead of slate, use that imitation slate they got. I think it's made out of plastic.
Yeah, some kind of material.
Yeah, and somebody told me it works better than slate, and you can't tell.
Probably.
Even with a pair of binoculars looking at it, you can't tell. And I don't think anybody's going to go up there and look. Tap on it. Is that slate? $7,500 for green community projects, and $43,000 for the town hall VRF system project. $20,000 for driveway road improvements, and $10,000 for tree and stump removal within the Pine Grove Cemetery grounds. Said sum to be expended by Department of Public Works. So most of these are under Department of Public Works, but there's even more than that than what I read. Then we got the appropriate $10,000 for the town hall slate roof evaluation for town hall entry flooring. Oh, wait a minute, this is a good one here. Let's see, get this. Maintenance of town-owned buildings and facilities in fiscal 2020. The following sums of money. $10,000 for town hall annex slate roof repairs. So now we're up to, what did I say earlier, 4,000?
4,000.
So up to 14,000 now.
Is that an assessment study?
Yeah. Along with, that was the assessment study. Then for the repairs, they want to put 10,000. And $4,500 for the town hall slate roof evaluation. So $10,000 for the annex slate roof repairs and $4,500 for the town hall slate roof evaluation. Then $10,000 for town hall entryway, flooring, and stairway. Treatment improvements, $12,000 to install an ADA compliant door at the rear entry of the town hall, and $13,100 to purchase 2 floor burnishers and 2 floor buffing machines for the school department Okay, now also for the school department, Article 19 is for repairs. And the following sums of money to be expended under the direction of the school committee: $106,400 for district-wide technology purchases, $32,000 for heating system repairs in the middle school, $12,000 to install a railing on the stairs leading to the high school. $12,000? That seems like an awful lot of money. For a railing on the stairs leading to the high school upper fields, and $46,500 to abate asbestos in the middle school boiler room. Oh,
Let me take a look at the top one there for a second.
yeah.
Couple of them.
Now that's that railing is for that stairway that goes up to the fields and behind the high school, which most people have never gone to because it's a pain in the neck to go to them. It's a long climb up a set of stairs. Then we get, these are pretty simple. We have a zoning change, which makes a lot of sense. I'm familiar with this because I'm the one who proposed it to the planning board. And that is the property where Kearns Auto Body, Perry Auto, and then former Post Steps, former veterinary building.
Yep.
Those 3 buildings are actually on a residential zone, which makes no sense. They're not going to become residential. So why don't we just zone it to what it's supposed to be? And that's what we're proposing here. And I don't see why anybody object to that. We're going to rezone from Riverdale Street, corner of Riverdale Street at Kearns Auto Body's property, up to the cemetery. No one's going to build a house in there. Believe me, those businesses are pretty established. Well, the one is vacant now, but he has tenants that want to come in, but they can't because it's not zoned for it. So it makes more sense to rezone. And then, of course, the one that's probably the most controversial is the LaSalle Field. And this has to pass by a 2/3 majority because it is to appropriate money and to do a debt exclusion. And it doesn't state the amount on here, but I believe it's $2.5 million. But that would be on the ballot as well. And then finally, Article 22 is to allow for marijuana cultivation by a business, because you can grow marijuana in your house now. I think, 6 plants a piece or something like that, husband and wife?
I don't know.
Yeah, whatever, something like that. But this is for, to resell. So we're talking a large growing station, a good size, to be a cultivator as an accessory use may be permitted by special permit of the planning board in the residential 2 zone in accordance, and this is done by petition. And it would have to be, consist of more than 12 acres, and associated structures are set back a minimum of 100 feet from the property line. So you have to have a pretty big spot to do it in. But that's basically what's coming up. I hope people are going to show up.
100 feet from the property line, huh?
Yeah, your structure, the building itself that they do the cultivating in.
Yeah.
What you might call a greenhouse, whatever they put up. So, and like I say, that's by petition. So, it should be, I don't think it's going to be a long town meeting because there's a couple of controversy. I know there'll be a lot of debate probably about the LaSalle, Then again, may not, I don't know, you never know what's gonna happen.
Sounds like it could be, it could take a little bit. It's a lot of articles.
Well, yeah, but it's no more than normal.
No, more than.
I've seen even more than that. I figure we'll be out of there by 10 o'clock.
Some of those repeat that come up every year, or some?
Yeah.
Them?
Yeah, the budget comes up every year, the moving money around to cover shortages here and there.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the stuff is just, there's always something on there for the enterprise funds, for the sewer and the water department. You always have to, see, any money that comes into town, be it from the state or whatever, it has to be appropriated by, the town has to accept it by town meeting.
Mm.
Unless, they can do it, take a donation, the selectmen can accept something like that. But most funds come in, it has to be appropriate, it has to be accepted in a town meeting vote. Because the town meeting is the legislative branch of town government. The selectmen are the executive branch that oversees the executive duties of like you would with the president or with the governor.
Mm-hmm.
But the legislators are the town meeting. In fact, that's why I've always said that we're getting larger and larger. We're up to what, over 16,000 plus residents now. We probably should be looking at becoming representative town meeting. Right now, every registered voter can go to town meeting and vote.
Mm-hmm.
With representative town meeting, then you set up districts.
Yeah.
And you elect a person from each district who represents that district at town meeting. And the reason I say that is we got 16,000 voters, plus 16,000 voters, and we'll be lucky to get 100 people show up. So, I mean, come on. We might as well have representative town meeting. We probably have more, I don't know how many people you'd have as representative town meeting members, but let's say you got 100, you'd probably get, most of them would show up, or all of them would show up, because you don't have to be there that often. It's not like you do me. But then again, we're having a hard time getting people to serve on boards.
Mm.
But they might serve on town meeting because you don't have to be there that often, you don't have to do as much. But anyway, if anybody's got any idea what they think, I know Barry will be there because he's going to be there to argue against the cell. And hey, we got to have that. We need debate. You need debate. You need to hear both sides, because if there's a problem somewhere, that's the way it gets out.
Mm-hmm.
If one side only one side gives their end of it, you don't know where there might be a problem somewhere, or if something doesn't work right. You know,
need
that's
different
why
perspectives.
Yeah, you need to get that. You need that debate.
Mm.
That way, things get done properly. But well, anyway, it's a quiet night.
I see a lot of signs out there for the LaSalle field.
Yeah, they got a tremendous amount of support out there.
Yeah.
And here again, but I mean, we're getting hit with a tax increase for the school. I don't know exactly when that's going to come on, because they're not going to start taxing you for it until they make the loan. And they're not going to make the loan until they start to build. If you build a house, you do a construction loan. You don't get all the money at once. And they're in the process of constructing. They were at the planning board, the last planning board meeting. The school was there, the school department, with the architect and the engineers and the construction company to present their plans. I have a copy at home.
Mm-hmm.
It's quite extensive, but they got some things we have to work out.
Somebody trying to call or something?
Yeah, here we go. All right. Go ahead, Carl, you're on.
Harry,
Yes.
have you been down? You've been down Providence Road in Rockville in the last couple of days.
Yeah, why?
Did you see they painted a house? Who
They
painted the house?
painted a house. Which house?
The nice green one that burned between Knoxbridge House of Pizza and the Abishon building.
Oh, no, that wasn't burnt. That was abandoned.
Oh, either way, they boarded up the window and they painted it.
I know they painted it. They were painting it. Yeah, I saw them painting it. They also put a new roof on it. But, you know, I
But it
think,
should have been knocked down.
well, the woman that used to own it sold it.
Yeah.
And I was under the understanding he was going to knock it down to make parking,
Yeah.
but then didn't do that. And now he might be looking at repairing it. Maybe he's, you know, as he has a little bit of cash, puts it into it.
How much cash you think he'll put into it?
I don't know. I mean, I know the reason it was abandoned is in the flood of '05. Now we're talking quite a while back now. That house got, it had structural damage in the basement. And so the building inspector required it be abandoned. He wouldn't allow the woman that lived in there had to get out. She didn't want to leave. She had no choice. Because it was condemned for structural reasons by the building inspector. And so she moved in with her mother in Hoppington. So I happen to know her very well. And she finally sold the house. And I
Looks a
thought,
lot better white than it did green.
yeah. Well, actually, that's like an asbestos siding. So I don't know if you can get away with that. Well, I guess you can, as long as you don't remove it.
Yeah.
But,
Okay.
yeah.
Thanks for the information.
Yeah, anything to help you, but I don't know what they're doing, but I'd like to know. I really like to know. I'd like to see it fixed up. I would like to see that, you know, we had some houses that didn't look good, and it just seemed to work.
The house was abandoned and then they started painting it afterwards, boarded up?
Yeah, it's been boarded up for a long time, and it deteriorated. Right next to the House of Pizza.
Yeah, yeah, so they're fixing it now,
Yeah,
for some reason.
but you know, the former Obershaw, I should say, butcher shop. That building needs some work too. Now that's up for sale because I guess the guy who owned it passed away and his daughter's got it and she just wants to sell it. But there's not a lot of buyers for these places. And we looked at that once for the studio before we came here. And we didn't do it because the place needed a lot of work. So it still needs a lot of work. And so, you know, other than, you know, Rockdale doesn't look that bad, but except for a couple of buildings here and there. But what are you going to do? I mean, people own them privately, and you can't really force them. And if they pay the taxes. But, you know, the town's got to do its part, too. I mean, Church Ave is in horrible condition. You got to pave the roads. You got to make the streets look decent. Got to fix the sidewalks. You know, the town's got to do its part as well. You know, Rockdale took a big hit when that bridge was being repaired. God, they took, 3 or 4 years to get that bridge done. But, you know, I'd like to, I've been on, we've done 3 or 4 studies now on how to improve things in Rockdale, and never everything, they do the study, but it never follows through. But, you know, things may turn, when you got a good economy, things can turn around, because look at Church Street now.
Yep.
You're starting to, you have new places opening up. You got that gift shop that just opened up.
Yeah, a new shop in there too. It's pretty recent, yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, if the economy improves, people will go into business because they see an opportunity. People are always trying, so who knows what could happen down here. Somebody might finally come in. The parking is a problem.
Yeah. Got more signage, need more signs to tell people this.
Well, Rockdale has no real off-street parking. At least in Winesville, you got quite a bit of off-street parking. Unfortunately, it fills up all the time, but it is available. We have nothing in Rockdale. If you don't park on the street, there's no place to park. I mean, Cumberland Farms doesn't want to fill up their parking lot. That's another place too. By today's standards, they wouldn't be able to build that place the way they did.
Cumberland Farms?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Oh no, because that's not meant for a downtown. That's set up. That doesn't fit into a downtown. But, you know, it's there, what are you gonna do? They got a vacant spot in there too, they used to have the Chinese restaurant moved out.
He did?
As far as I
Oh.
know, yeah, you know,
Oh, there's a printing shop in there.
they've been there for a long time, they
Yeah.
must do fairly well, because he's been there for a long time.
The sign is missing, they need a sign.
No, that's not the print shop, the sign was for the Chinese restaurant.
No, but the print shop has a sign on the window, but doesn't have a sign on the top.
Yeah, they do,
You sure?
yep, positive.
Huh.
You take a look, I know they do, I remember seeing it.
I know there's one on the window.
No, there's an empty sign.
Yeah.
Over the Chinese restaurant,
Oh, okay.
that one's gone.
Oh, so the print shop has the one right next to it, but it does have a
Yeah,
sign.
they're on the very end.
Huh.
Yeah, they're in the last area, last spot. So, I mean, in Cumberland, there was more than one, there was about 3 stores there, but then Cumberland Farms expanded, so they took over one. You know, who knows, they may expand again and take over the other one. Yeah, I know, they like big stores now.
Mm. Well, malls are going out of fashion now.
What is it?
Are you talking about Cumberland Farms, not big stores?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah, well, look what they built at Uxbridge.
There's a big one there too?
Yeah, you don't get around, what, you must go from your house to Framingham back to your house, right?
Pretty much. I don't look around too much.
You ever go through Hopedale?
Hopedale, maybe, but
They built the big Cumberland Farms there.
they did there too.
Yeah.
They're building big stores.
I can't think of one between here and Framingham,
I'll keep
though.
an eye open for it next time.
Yeah. Well, you're gonna show them next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday.
Who's
yeah.
your guest?
It's gonna be a crafter. Her name is Holly.
Oh,
She has a shop for crafts and things.
in Northbridge, or?
No, I can't remember what town she's from. She's just in the craft circuit with my wife, so she.
Oh,
Oh, there's somebody there.
oh, that's good. You know, I got Gary Vecchione coming in tomorrow night.
Gary Vecchione.
Yeah, the guy with the tent.
Oh, that's the guy.
The
How's
tent,
that going?
the tent and all the flowers.
How is that going? You know?
I don't know. I haven't been down here. I mean, go ahead. You're on the air.
Hey, good evening, guys.
Hey, how you doing, Barry?
Good, 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 good. I'm glad you talked about the town warrant articles.
Yeah, people gotta get. You gotta show up.
Right,
I mean, don't complain about how the town is run if you don't go to town meeting.
right, right. And just my thoughts. Because I went to the FinCom meeting on March 27th, and budget-wise, we got some concerns. The town manager had to make $310,000 in budget cuts, and then our DPW that is already has a very challenging budget itself. He cut that by $25,000, and that was out of the 3 major departments. That was the only department to get a budget decrease. And as you know, Harry, the DPW has been level funded about $1 million for so many years.
Oh
And,
God, for eternity
they've,
now.
Never replaced the people that they laid off in the early '80s.
No, they never got back to the size they were.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, but they got a lot of things on the agenda here that they're funding separately under the DPW.
Right.
So I guess they're gonna that work is gonna be sectioned out.
Right, and even with those funding items, Harry, there's still 30 capital projects that are unfunded. So even though we're funding a few there that we have, there's still 30 that are unfunded.
Well, now
Because of the shortfall, and another thing that saved the town this year, Harry, was that there was no increase in health insurance costs, and that would have been another $700,000
Well, yeah, I mean, you can't raise the taxes over 2.5.
Right.
So you have to call for an override. They are calling for an override in Douglas, aren't they?
I'm not 100% sure, but I know they've got some issues over there too.
But this is a problem that towns have everywhere because, you know, I don't want to get rid of 2.5.
Mhm.
But before we had 2.5, they would figure out what they want to spend and then raise the taxes to meet it.
Mhm.
But we don't want to go back to that.
Right.
You know, you got to do your job and you're just going to have to watch it.
Right, and you have to live within your budget.
Right.
And another thing that I heard when I was there, the school district had to take $2.7 million out of their revolver account, and plus the town has given the school district an additional $450,000. So, you know, that's another issue, and my understanding is the 2021 budget for the school district, they potentially may be short $1 million, and I don't know if that's with the same level of funding of increase that the town's giving them this year. So there's a lot of budgetary concerns on the horizon. And you bring up a good point about the roads. Okay, I'll let you go ahead, Harry.
The school budget, you can't project that far out because they don't know what they're going to get from the state.
Right,
And also it comes down to how many kids.
right,
Because, you know, they get funded by the state based on the school population.
right.
So there's a lot of variable factors there.
I'm just going by what the FinCom meeting minutes is, that they had concerns of a potential $1 million shortfall in 2021. So that was something they want to keep an eye on.
Well, part of the problem they got with the shortfall in the school budget too is kids that are leaving under this, you know, you what do you call it, school, you can go to other schools.
Right.
I forget what to call it now, but,
Tuition?
School choice.
school choice.
School choice.
So, you know, and that can cost quite a bit because was it 15,000,
Right.
something like that, somewhere in there?
Mhm.
So, hey, 15,000, if you have 10 kids leave, do the math, what's that, 150,000?
Right.
That adds up pretty quick.
And then there's some type of what they call a hold harmless clause, where the school doesn't get a certain amount of money back. I don't know the exact details on it, but the whole budgetary thing for the town is very challenging.
Yes, it is.
You bring up a good point about the roads. As you know, we were underfunded for years because to pay for the big dig, and we're still being underfunded on the Chapter 90 money.
Well, the whole state is,
That's a continuing battle.
you know, money is being popped into Boston, but look at, you drive down a Mass Pike.
Right.
I mean, it's horrible.
Yeah.
And they're collecting those tolls,
Right.
except from the
And
people, except from Connecticut drivers.
There's all the money going. I mean, we're paying excise taxes, gas taxes. That was all supposed to take care of the roads. I mean, I wonder if the money's even going for the roads. Who knows?
Well, excise tax doesn't go to the roads, it goes into the general fund,
Oh, okay.
into the town's general fund.
Oh, okay.
So, you know, let's say it does, okay, the $1 million that the highway department gets is coming from, part of that's coming from the excise tax.
Now, wasn't the excise tax a temporary tax created during World War II?
Supposedly,
Right.
don't forget, the income tax went up, remember, under Dukakis, it was going to be temporary.
Right. Right.
How long ago was he governor?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's no such thing as a temporary tax in Massachusetts.
Oh, yeah.
You know that. I mean, the
And,
sales
I'm
tax.
wondering, I mean, didn't they just repair the town hall roof not too long ago?
Yeah.
I
See,
mean, what that-
well, no, they're
that's
talking the
a
town hall
warranty or
annex. We're talking the town hall annex, I believe.
Oh, I thought you said the town hall roof or something.
The town hall annex, it was still a school at the time, and they put a new slate roof on it.
Right.
And there was controversy about then, because
Right.
it was said, why don't you put that new style slate on, the artificial slate?
Right.
You can't tell. It looks just like the real thing, and from what I understand, it's much more durable. It stands up better.
Well,
historical.
Oh, oh.
You couldn't tell.
Huh.
But, back then, that was the argument, but the people that wanted to go, and I was one that said we should do that, but we lost the argument,
Oh, yeah.
and if they're going to do it again, they're looking at Slate again.
No. Yeah.
But I can tell you, it's falling off.
Right, right.
And I don't know if you can go back on it. I should think that had to be around the time of the high school construction, probably. So it's going to be about 20 years ago.
Yeah. Now is the town hall annex a historical building?
Yeah, that was the first high school in town.
Well, if it's a historical building, I think they can use CPA funds for it.
Well, we don't. You're talking to CPA?
Well, no, because I'm pretty sure Community Preservation Act funding.
Yeah, but we haven't got started on that yet.
No, not yet. No, so I'm talking about I thought it'd be coming in a year.
Well, probably next year.
Oh, okay.
I mean, we haven't started collecting it yet.
Right. But it's my understanding that can be used for historical buildings to upgrade them.
Right. Well, there is some in there now. I think we got. Oh, I can't off the top of my head. I'm going to guess $500,000 or something.
Right.
I'm not sure. We have a class coming up May 13th with the state.
Mm-hmm.
They're coming in to teach the committee how a CPA works.
Right, because I always thought it was for you could renovate, fix historical buildings.
Well, you can do a number of things, but you have to break it down to everything. You can't just do one thing.
Right, the money has to be divided into all
Yeah.
those three avenues, right?
Right.
Okay. And
There is a maintenance fund, all the money that comes in from the solar projects.
right, but as you know, like I said, the town has quite a laundry list of maintenance issues, and I don't know how that's all going to be budgeted out, but I do know that there's still 30 unfunded capital projects on the 2020 budget, even with the ones that they are funding there, like that you read off about the DPW. So there's still a lot more that has to be done.
Oh, there's always going to be, your own home you have maintenance projects.
Oh yeah. Oh, you got to keep things up.
Right, exactly.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, we let things slide so long that they got worse.
Yeah. Maintenance has always been a challenging issue in this town, Harry.
Well, they're looking for money to remove asbestos from the middle school.
Right.
Wait a minute. How long has that been that way?
Right. But I mean, they got to deal with it.
Right. But I'm saying that,
One of my satellites told me the other day that they're hearing that it's going to be $350,000 to $360,000 to remove the modular classrooms once NES closes, and you don't know if they're going to have to do any asbestos abatements in there unless they give the person that buys it a discount. So that's a whole nother can of worms there.
well, now they're talking about the fire station maybe there.
Yeah, well, they got to do something. I mean, if you look at the new Uxbridge fire station, and that looked like it would fit like a glove right there.
Right. But now, also, when you talk about removing those modular classrooms, right?
Right.
When that get done, I hope we stop paying the church.
Well, politics, Harry.
Well, come on, we're not using the land anymore.
Well, you know how things go.
Well,
So they're gonna have to figure something out.
I'm sorry for the church, but they rented St. Peter's, the school department. Remember that?
Yeah.
And they walked out before the lease was up.
Yeah. Well, like I say, you've seen a lot of crazy things, just as I've seen a lot of crazy things. So what are you going to do?
Right, but I mean, what are we paying? $25,000 a year now?
Something like that.
Yeah.
But I heard the lease wasn't renewed. But I don't know all the other particulars because they were waiting to see what was going to happen.
Right, but I mean, that $25,000 you put toward the asbestos abatement.
Well, I mean that it might be a little bit, but who knows how much they got to abate? So that's a whole other issue.
Well, yeah, but don't forget that's an older building.
Yeah.
That was a parochial school.
Right.
So I'm sure there's asbestos in the pipes in the basement.
Right, but I mean, if they're going to build a new fire station there, then they'll probably tear the building down, so then it
Right.
would be a moot point.
But, you know, that asbestos thing is out of hand too. It's not as bad as they make it out to be.
Well, you know the all the crazy things going on today.
Right.
Now, what I don't understand is why are they paying $16,000 for a police chief assessment thing? Are they planning on taking the police chief's job out of civil service? Because usually that's what civil service does to all that stuff. So
Well, no, I
let
don't
that
believe
save the town money.
I don't think the chief is in civil service.
I thought the police chief job was civil service.
I don't know. I'm not sure, but I don't think so.
Well, I thought it was, Harry.
I could be
Well,
wrong.
Not unless, I mean, I could see if it wasn't. I mean, because if it's civil service, then they wouldn't need that assessment because that's what civil service does. It saves the municipality money.
Right.
And not, like I said, not unless they're planning. I mean, if it's still in, maybe they're planning on taking it out.
Oh, that's a possibility. The current chief is going to retire.
Right. I think he's under civil service.
I really don't know on that. I do not know. I know patrolmen are.
Mhm.
But I don't know if sometimes the chief doesn't have, the chief is not necessarily under civil service, even though the rest of the department is.
Right, but usually that opens up a can of worms once you take the chief out of civil service. That's just my opinion, but if that's what the town wants to do, then that's what they want to do. But well, it should be an interesting town meeting, anyways, and hopefully we get a quorum, and we'll see what shakes out, you know.
Yeah.
And I was through your place, Miguel, the other day, Old Framingham. So I was down on Concord Street, and I don't know if that's familiar to you, but
Oh yeah, I know Concord Street.
yeah.
Concord
So
Street.
I was thinking,
Stop and
about
Shop us.
Miguel when I was down there, but
Oh.
I just wanted to call in and hey, you guys hang in there, keep punching, and stay safe and stay well, and I'll see you guys at town meeting.
Take
All
care.
right.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
Concord Street is, remember a couple of years ago, they had a big fire at a warehouse?
I know 135.
Concord Street is right near the McDonald's.
Oh, okay, the McDonald's. Yeah,
You know, you gotta go up to that light,
yeah.
and you gotta go either, if you're gonna turn onto Concord Street, you gotta go down to the extreme right lane.
Right.
Make that, and go straight. If you stay in the other two lanes, you gotta go straight.
Yeah.
Well, that's Concord Street, and goes down that way.
So heading towards Natick, kind of.
It heads toward Wayland.
Wayland, right.
Actually, it heads toward Concord, that's why I call it Concord Street.
Oh.
Uh.
They should call it Wayland Street.
Well, Concord was more prominent.
Oh, okay.
See, you go through Wayland and you end up in Concord.
All right.
But yeah, that's there's a big Stop and Shop down there, big plaza. But in the back, right on as soon as you get onto it, there was an area with it burnt. It was a huge warehouse down there that burnt.
Yeah.
The warehouse, but yeah, it was a warehouse.
It's a lot of mills.
It's still empty down there.
A lot of mills in Framingham.
Yeah. But well, pretty soon you won't be able to go to Framingham unless you speak Portuguese. Am I right?
It's a lot of Brazilians in
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're running the town now. The mayor's a Brazilian.
Really?
Yeah, you didn't know that?
I didn't know that.
Oh, you work in town. You got to keep up with it.
Right.
Because they're no longer a town. They're a city now.
Oh, I know they're a city. Yeah, they're big.
Yeah.
They're too big to be a town. I know that.
Well, they had to vote that on their own.
Yeah?
There's no requirement to become a city.
Mm.
You have to vote to become a city, and then the state accepts you as a city based on your population.
Oh, really?
But they were the largest town in America.
Really?
Yeah, because for years they've always had a very large population. They were always big enough to be a city. They had a bigger population in Marlboro, which was a city.
Wow.
But they never wanted to be a city. They kept their selectman-style government. Now they have to go to a council type government with a mayor.
Oh, okay.
See, it's the way the government's set up.
They have some new construction going on in Framingham, a couple of places. New luxury kind of apartments and things like that.
Yeah,
Right.
well, you know why? The luxury apartments go, they can't afford them in Boston.
Yeah, can't afford anything in Boston.
No, so some of the people in Framingham is starting to get unaffordable too. I mean, we got a lot of people who work in Boston that are moving out here because that's the only place they can afford to buy a house.
Yeah.
That's why our population boomed. We jumped in a few years from 12,000 to over 16,000.
Natick is pretty expensive too.
And we're going to jump some more because we got a lot more projects coming online. So we could be up to 20,000 in about 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, still relatively
Then
small.
we'll become a city.
The city of Whitensville. That's a good one.
Well, no, there you go. That's another thing that's, see, Winesville is a village.
Yeah.
And it was actually, it was called South Northbridge.
South Northbridge.
Yeah, which
South
sounds
Northbridge.
stupid. But because Northbridge was the original name of the settlement, the town that was incorporated in 1772, because it was north of the bridge that took you to Uxbridge. Uxbridge was here first. And the people came out here and settled, but to go to church and for all town business, they had to go to Uxbridge.
What's Uxbridge, the bridge in Uxbridge, Ux of Northbridge?
And the bridge is actually south of Northbridge.
South of Northbridge.
So Uxbridge is south of Northbridge. So instead of calling it Uxbridge, they called it Northbridge because it's north of the bridge. The bridge that went over the Mumford River.
What do you call Uxbridge Southbridge?
Well, we have a South Bridge.
Oh, we do? Oh, that's why they didn't call it.
Yeah.
Southbridge. Can't have two Southbridge.
There's a South Bridge over by Sturbridge.
Mm,
What a bridges.
a lot of bridges.
But anyway, to honor John Whiten when he passed away,
Mhm.
they wanted to name the village Whitensville,
Oh,
and they got it done. But the town hall was still up at Northbridge Center. So the Whiten family built the town hall, the Memorial Town Hall we got now, to try to bring them down. And it took them about 3 years before they finally voted to abandon the town hall in Northbridge Center and bring it down. And that moved the government, the center of government, down into Whitensville.
mm,
But it was actually up on Northbridge Center, where the water tower is.
mm.
See, so, but then they got it down there, so that became, so now you get mail, when you send mail, you send it to Town of Northbridge, Whitensville, Mass. You know? Really? That's why they have a post office box at the Rockdale station as well.
Yes, they do.
Because if somebody sends a letter to Northbridge, at least they'll get it. I mean, if you think about it, if you're going to address a letter, you want to send Board of Selectmen, Town of Northbridge, you would write Northbridge, Mass. 01534. If you didn't know the address,
Yeah. We'll probably still get it.
well, then they would get it. Yeah, well, they still get it because it goes into the other post office.
Yeah.
I know it's a little bit confusing, but that's what happens here now.
I just tell people I live west of Boston.
Here you go. Northbridge is getting well known. Blackstone Valley is getting well known. People from Metro West are moving in here. We're becoming more and more better known.
You have to pay to go to the thing over there. What do you call it? The rock, Blackstone. What do you call that thing with the Purgatory?
Oh, Purgatory.
Yeah.
Well, that's the state.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's the state. The state did that with all their parks to
Man.
try to keep the cost of operating them down. They want to bring some money in. In a way, it worked. I grew up with Purgatory being free,
Yeah.
but you got a lot of people come here from out of state to go there.
Ah,
So it's a way of getting some money out of them.
they shot a movie in there.
And they upgraded that whole place.
They have?
Oh,
I haven't been there in a while.
No, they upgraded it a few years back, a number of years
Oh,
ago.
okay.
I believe Bill Well was governor at the time, so we're talking back in the 90s. But prior to that, I mean, there was nothing there. Now they got the visitor center.
Yeah.
They upgraded the parking
What
lot.
happened to Smokey? Somebody take Smokey out or something? Smokey the Bear used to be there.
I don't know. I don't know what to, you have to
Somebody
talk, you have to talk to the park department about that.
Somebody took him down.
Oh, there's a picture of Smokey the Bear.
No, there was an actual wooden,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Well, maybe that's because the U.S. Parks Department says, hey, you're taking away our guy.
Somebody took him out.
Yeah.
They ripped him right out, and then it's just a piece of wood left or something.
Well, maybe somebody stole it.
It looks like somebody did, but never heard if anybody ever found out who did it.
That's pretty common, unless they got a camera. I tell you, though, you're crazy if you break the law now because there's cameras everywhere.
Hmm.
And the stuff, but then again, sometimes just don't get prosecuted. I don't know. You don't get a good picture of it, and we had a situation here. We have cameras all over the place,
Mm-hmm.
and a kid went missing, and the police came and looked through our cameras, and they found him.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh,
where he went.
that's good.
See, because our cameras are scanning this parking lot, around the building and everything all the time, 24 hours a day.
NCTV saving lives again.
Yeah. Well, we had a burglary over here, and they caught the guys by coming in checking our cameras, and they found out the guy was parked in the parking lot.
They came in here?
Yeah, they came in here, police came in and reviewed the cameras,
Yeah.
and they saw the car.
He
They
was
saw
out
the
there?
guy go into the house,
Oh.
burglarize the house.
Oh.
So now they had the guy's car. Then we were able to get their number plate.
Bad luck for him, huh?
Yeah. So they ended up catching him. See, so, these cameras have worked out well for the police. They know where to come now. They come here right away when they got something in the area.
Hmm.
We caught people doing stuff in the parking lot.
They don't know that they have cameras out there.
Well, they found out once the police addressed it with them. Then they don't come back. We had a guy that decided to use our back stair, little stoop out back, little cement platform, for a toilet one night.
It's-
Yeah, we caught him,
yeah.
but the police didn't want to follow up on that. We got to get going.
Mm.
Hey, I'll be here tomorrow night with Gary Vecchione from Lovey's. You can tell him what you think of his place. He's upset and going, so see you tomorrow night.